Officer. Be careful. Is this your place or his?
Oh, his. I would never have that IKEA couch.
Who's that?
Hello.
Oh, Frank. His roommate.
Who are you?
Detective Davis. So, Frank, your roommate's been missing and you don't even notice.
Missing? Define missing. I mean, I'm sure he's somewhere, so therefore, can he really be missing?
You don't seem too terribly concerned.
Hi. I don't believe we've met. I'm Kendra.
Welcome to our home.
Have you lived here long, Ella?
Leave her alone.
Were you born here?
Do you like dogs?
She's having kind of a tough time with the move. All she's ever known is New York City. She's convinced she won't find any friends out here, so.
You take care of a dog. I have a friend who runs a foster home for dogs. Got lots of them that need a good home.
Do you have a dog?
Me? No, I can't stand them. I'm a purebred cat woman. Hey, boss.
Nellie.
Sorry for the wait, everyone. I've been a Twitter battle with Ryan Reynolds. Which one's better? White Castle or In-N-Out?
White Castle.
See? Tough choice. What do you think, Snitch? You have an early morning.
9 a.m.
Are you an early riser?
Generally.
Oh, perfect.
Why is that?
This is for my miracle. Did you know I swam the channel?
No.
Once I get my miracle from Miss Kitty, I'm gonna swim it again.
Who's Miss Kitty?
The miracle maker.
What kind of miracle maker?
The real kind. She can do anything. You think I'm drunk, but I'm intoxicated. But I've been drinking all day.
Yes, I do.
I have cerebral palsy, you asshole.
Welcome to Meet the Biz. Today I'm very excited. I'm very excited because a dear friend of mine, this woman has so much depth. She's a stunning actress who comes from those real places, whether it's comedy or drama. You know, I was thinking about what word comes to mind, and it's powerhouse. I mean, she is a powerhouse. She's an actor, a filmmaker, a solo artist, a speaker, an artist educator, a disability inclusion artivist.
Artivist, yes. Artivist, yeah.
And that voice is Miss Diana Elizabeth Jordan.
Dad, hello, my friend. How are you?
Oh, I'm good.
I'm thinking as if I never see you. I see you like all of the. David, how long has it been since we talked this morning at the staff meeting?
At morning meeting.
At morning meeting. It's been at least 3 hours. How have you been in the past 3 hours?
Well, busy and having fun at it. You know, at least you know. I am keeping busy and focusing and creating and all this stuff as well as you are.
Yes, I am. It's really been interesting. I think, you know, even though there's been definite challenges in this our new normal. It's become a normal. It literally has become a new normal, but I realized that I also had a lot of wonderful opportunities to be really creative and challenge myself creatively, especially I'm making recording classes for Performing Arts Studio West. You know, something if you had told me that a year ago, I would have been like, what?
What? And you know what one of my favorite things is to start my week off? Morning cup of joy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I mean,
so much.
It's just so healing, you know? How long have you been doing morning cup of joy?
I've been doing them on and off for about a year and a half. I had some technical issues this past month, so hopefully I'll be back up on Monday. But I started them about a year and a half ago, and I would do them on and off. And then during COVID, I just felt, why don't I really start to do them on a more frequent basis? So I started about a week into COVID. I mean, I think I did my first what I call the new relaunch in the March, early April, and I decided to take them seasonally. So I did like my spring season, take a little break. I'm now into my summer season. So technical, pardon me, it's technological allows me to, I will have one on Monday. But it's been really great. I'll do a summer season, probably take a little break, and then do a fall and a winter season.
Well, what's so nice too, it is on Mondays. So it's sort of like, oh, it's Monday, it's Morning Cup of Joy. And and they could find that on your YouTube channel, yes?
Yeah, they on my YouTube channel starting August 1st. They'll be all up on my Vimeo channel, RBTV. All my channels are RBC TV, and I'll also give you the links will be in the page. But yes, I'm starting to post them up on my YouTube channel, and that's been the thing about learning how to create content. It's like I'm creating them. They're all on my Facebook page. They're all on the Rainbow Butterfly Cafe page on Facebook right now.
And that's what those initials were, the R.
Yeah, the Rainbow Butterfly Cafe is RBC, Rainbow Butterfly Cafe, which is the name of my edutainment.
Which is another, Morning Cup of Joy, and then the Rainbow Butterfly Cafe. It's also, you hear it and you just want to like come in and enjoy.
Well, that was the motivation to create both, is that I wanted, I see the Rainbow Butterfly Cafe, which is more not a physical space, but a space where I'm conducting a workshop but a space where everyone's welcome. And Rainbow stands for diversity. Butterfly is transformation, because butterflies transform. From they go into the cocoon, and when the worm goes into the cocoon, it comes out a butterfly. But rainbow is for diversity, butterflies for transformation, and cafe is a place where the community gathers. So that's the meaning behind the Rainbow Butterfly Cafe.
It's really gorgeous. I mean, you were talking about it. It reminded me when I used to live in the guest house at Angela Rockwood's, and I would walk out in the morning, and one of my favorite things, she had monarch butterflies all around. Wow. So in the morning there was like, I'd say at least 10, and they were flying around, and they were just like, I had names for each of them. No, but it was interesting. And then yesterday I had dropped something off in North Hollywood, very social distancing, and there was a butterfly, and it was just right by me, and it was just so calming. So it's such a great title that you have created for your business.
Well, thank you. It's taken a while, and it's still, a daily challenge, but it's worth it. I think sometimes you need to just start things yourself and not wait till you're ready and wait till all the stars are quote unquote aligned. I think sometimes you have to do it, and in the doing, the stars start to align, or the steps start to align. But I always say, you never know until you try. And I think so many times we give us our messages how it's not gonna work, or what if I don't do this, what if I don't do that? But what I always say, what if in the positive? What if I make a lot of really great connections? What if it becomes another source of income for me? What if I could create a really successful, sustainable business? What if that? And then if, well, what if it doesn't work? What if, people won't like it? So the truth is, you still are never gonna know until you try. And I truly believe the only way to guarantee something won't work is to not try.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But the only way you can guarantee something won't work is to not try. Once you try, once you put the effort in, you increase your opportunity by 50%. Because either it won't work, it will work, or and usually it's gonna be some version of what you think it will be, and what it really is may not always mesh, but I think, and I found what it becomes is something really beautiful beyond what I could have ever imagined.
Yeah. Well, especially in the last couple of years since I've known you, you're just like, you're like creating things. I mean, when you did your premiere of your one-woman show that you're working on, it's Performing Arts Studio West, it was like, wow. I mean, it was a standing ovation afterwards. I mean, so you have the new show, but talk about doing things. You've had how many one-woman shows have you done?
Well, this Happily Ever After was really one that I kind of created myself over. It's been a journey. It started off as a few years ago. I went to a storytelling workshop, which was really teaching us how to facilitate other people to tell their own stories.
Right.
But I really believe in the power of storytelling, whether it's the performance or just the process of storytelling. And this is more about helping people tell their stories than performing their stories. So I did that in New Mexico with the fabulous Tanya Taylor Rubenstein. So I did this 10-minute version of it, which was very more of a truthful, the telling that story of being single and looking for love, and that was that story. And then over the years, it just expanded, and I kind of wanted that combination of a bit of a performance, but the autobiographical performance as well. And I think as a woman, as little girls, we're kind of fed this story that we're going to meet our Prince Charming and grow up and live happily ever after. And I think, and a lot of women do that, and that's really wonderful. But I think we're at the top that if we don't find that, we're not okay. That if we don't find that Mr. Right or Miss Right as a woman, if we don't find our partner, somehow there's something wrong with us. And I totally bought into that. And what I realized as I was developing this show is what I really found and looking for love was when I found my one true love, which I didn't want to spoil the end. So
Right.
And this really is how I found a true love.
Well, and what's so wonderful about it is it is, when I was watching it, I identified with it. Whoever sees it, men, women, it's about that relationship that you're like longing for, and it's just it's really wonderful. I can't wait to see you do it again, outside of all this stuff that's going on.
It was really interesting because some things were starting to happen right before COVID. Well, I think again, I always try and look at the glass not half full but overflowing. I say to that, if your glass half empty, half full, they actually mine is overflowing. Yeah, it really is, and that doesn't mean. I think that the thing where like people say that, oh, Diana, you're so positive. It's like I'm positive because I have a lot of things to be grateful for, but that doesn't mean there's not the shadows and the opposites. That doesn't mean I don't have difficult times. I do, and this past few months have been very challenging emotionally on many different levels. COVID, which what's going on in our society with Black Lives Matter and all those things, and realizing I navigate the world as an African American woman who has a disability, and that acceptance and marginalization, I feel that's all been a really challenging time. But throughout the challenges and throughout how hard it's been, I still have a lot to be grateful for. I'm grateful for you. I have friends that love me and a family. I have my nephews. I have so much to be grateful for. So there's always a balance. And I think, again, you can focus on what you don't have or what you do have.
Well, and it's so interesting how we are learning how to connect in different ways right now. And when we get out of this again and go to where we're going next, we'll so appreciate that touch.
Exactly. I mean, and again, I don't want to create the illusion that I'm like, float around with an umbrella like Mary Poppins all day long, I la 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 and singing la la la.
I thought I saw you the other night.
You did. That was me. But I do recognize that I am a very blessed person.
Yeah.
And I have a lot to be grateful for. And sometimes focusing on that gratitude, because I am a person that, in addition to living with cerebral palsy, because I also was diagnosed with depression and anxiety in 2004, focusing on the positive things is a daily therapeutic way for me to cope with some of the more emotionally challenging things that I deal with.
Right.
And then also educating people about disability, about psychiatric disabilities, physical disabilities. So it's a balance. It's always a balance, and some days are better than others, like everybody else. I have my good days and my bad days.
Right.
But even on my worst days, I still know I'm very lucky. Because on my worst days, I reach out to my friend Kimberly, or I reach out to you. Yeah. And there are days when I'll just say, I need to be reminded that there's days I need to be reminded of that, because I am going through a hard time, but I always know I have someone to reach out.
And that's so important that you're saying that, and that you're also putting the energy into creative endeavors like the morning cup of coffee, the Rainbow Butterfly Cafe. I mean, and you have done so much amazing work. I mean, you were in a documentary that was nominated for a student Oscar, right?
Yeah, that was Anthony Week. That was, oh my God, that was so good.
Imaginary Circumstances. It was gorgeous.
That was fantastic. That was really funny, because I remember when Anthony contacted me, and I wasn't like sure who he was, and he goes, "Yeah, come meet me at my hotel and we'll go out to breakfast." And I'm like, okay. But turned out to be a great experience. Anthony's just a beautiful, wonderful guy. You remind me, I probably need to reach out and see how he is. But that, again, that's what I mean about you never know when you open what gifts may come that you never expected. And imagining circumstances which is one of those unexpected gifts. And I think if you open your heart, things that always manifest the way you want them to, but there are things that will manifest that you didn't imagine and which will be amazing. And there's always going to be the balance. You know, I've had the disappointments and I've had the low lows, but again, like I say, is still and we're home. But you can have the lowest of lows, and I don't want to give any illusion that everything is always easy for me.
That's what makes life too, is the roller coasters.
Well, and I think that's why I love acting, because I love getting to tell those stories.
Talk about acting. I mean, what is it? You ain't woke. Connections. I love that film. I mean, you've worked with Corey Reeder and Carl Hansen, and then you direct. You direct.
Tomorrow more.
I can.
Directing I Can was truly an amazing experience, and I've been working with Corey Reeder and the Agency of Disability Film Challenge, funded by my dear friend, our dear friend, Vicky, and you introduced Corey and I the second year of the challenge, and Corey and I became really good friends, and I've worked on actually every one of his films since. Then Speed Date, which is his first film, and then the second year he wrote Boxed Out, and I had the lead in that, and I was honored with a Best Actor award. We worked together on Best Friend, which won, and then we did Ain't Woke, and I started to associate produce. And it was that year when I said, I wonder if I could direct, because I directed a theater, I've never directed film. And so Corey said, well, if you direct, I'd like you to produce. That was last year, and I loved it. People have always said, oh, now you're transitioning to be a director. No, I'm just becoming a director in addition to what I do. It's never either or at the end.
So you think about it again. Morning Cup of Joy, Rainbow Butterfly Cafe, I Can, very positive stuff.
Well, I think, I want things I do to have a positive impact, a realistic positive impact. And I don't like that, doing quote unquote inspirational, disability porn. I don't like that, but I do think it's important because there is so much negativity in the world. And right now, we're getting it from all sides with, things that, in my opinion, should not be political issues are becoming political issues. Like wearing a mask. That shouldn't be a political issue. It seems like things that are very simple are becoming exactly. It just seems like very good. Wearing a seatbelt is not a political issue. We all wear seatbelts, right?
I do.
It's the law. It's the law. You put a seatbelt on. Why do you put a seatbelt on? For your safety, right? And I've never seen a protest of whether or not we should wear seatbelts. So I think because there's so much negative thing that I see out there, I still, even though I acknowledge them and I feel them, and I hurt with them, I still want to find ways to be positive. I still try and find the gratitude, even in that my deepest despair.
Yeah.
I still try and find gratitude, and sometimes the gratitude through my tears. You know, I mean, sometimes I'm grateful and I'm sobbing. You know, when my friend DC died and took his life, I remember being at his funeral and weeping, but I was still very grateful that I had him in my life for when I did. It was just hard that he's not here anymore.
What is, you talk about joy.
Mm-hmm.
What is your biggest?
Oh my gosh, it can depend. You know, it definitely, it's a little thing. And sometimes joy catches you off guard. I remember my younger nephew, Jordan, you know, because I'm an auntie, I'm a godmother, I'm very blessed. I remember my younger nephew, Jordan, made like a 10-page PowerPoint presentation of why he needs a hamster. And it was great. It was awesome.
Yeah.
My older nephew wrote a song, which he put on the video. So things like that, seeing my nephew do stuff, my goddaughter's learning to walk now, so that those things bring me joy. My very best friend, one of my very best friends, Blair, who I call my older brother, we went to college together. He wrote me a few months ago and goes, "Guess what? You're an aunt." So now I have a little niece, so because I don't have children of my own, having these children in my life that hopefully I'll get to see grow up, and I am watching growing up and being a part of their village brings me joy. Sometimes watching Doctor Who can bring me joy. You know, it really just depends. I think I try to find joy in the everyday things. Sometimes with my client, the clients we work with are performing at Studio West. That brings me joy. So there's just little moments. That's why I like to call myself morning cups of joy, because I think joy comes in those small little cups, you know, that we decide, you know, usually like when I was going out, like the Starbucks or whatever, which I don't do now because of social distancing. But when you could go out for coffee, and when we're meeting, usually when you meet up for coffee with friends, if you are making a conscious effort to say, "Hey, let's meet up for coffee,"
right?
You need to have a joyful moment, right? Usually people, I mean, sometimes people go for coffee for meetings, but a lot of times they just meet up with your friends and have a cup of coffee, and that moment is like a cup of joy, right? So that's another reason why I have my cafe, my virtual cafe. It's like joy comes in the moments. I don't think it's this everlasting thing that, you know, we do go like you said, we go like that. We go woo, 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 woo in terms of emotions. But when we can have those moments where we're going like that, sometimes it makes, even though it's temporary, it's just so nice. You know?
Well, oh God, that's so beautifully said. I'm gonna rewatch that part. If I ever get down, I'm gonna rewatch that, what you just said. One thing that brings me joy, and I know brings you joy, like you mentioned, are the students at Performing Arts Studio West, and we have a few of them on today.
Oh my gosh!
They're coming on, and they'll be able to ask some questions and say hello.
I miss them so much. I'm looking forward to that.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, guys.